We're going to our second segment here about AL teams and their most impactful addition. Before we do that, I just want to mention Nicky Lopez was caught out of strikes, so not very exciting. But that's what we expect from the White Sox right now. We're going to start with our second segment here. I'm going to be talking about each AL team and what their most impactful addition was for the season. Out of the players they added, who I think will be most impactful to the team and the franchise. It may not be the best player. It will be for most of them, but some of them will not be. Just to let you know. So let's get it started. I'm going to start off with the Orioles, and I think it's pretty clear what the Orioles one is, and it's Corbin Burnes. The Orioles added an ace this offseason, which everyone wanted them to do. It's not the ace we expected. I think I was like most people was expecting them to get Dylan Cease, but they did not. They instead got Corbin Burnes from Milwaukee, who is very good. What can you say about Corbin Burnes that hasn't been said? A bona fide ace in this league, one of the better guys in the league when he was with Milwaukee. Still is. Great trade by the Orioles that came out of nowhere to finally get an ace, get a guy like Corbin Burnes. So, good for Orioles fans, good for the Orioles' new ownership for showing fans that they want to win. And, I'm excited to watch him in Birdland. So, something exciting to watch Corbin Burnes in Baltimore. So that was definitely their most impactful addition. We're going to go to another obvious one here with the Yankees. We all know what it is. Obviously, it's Juan Soto. There's no other real one to say here. They added one of the better players in baseball in Juan Soto. He's arguably the best hitter in baseball. He's 25, 24, just an insane player. There's so much stuff that's been said about Juan Soto that I don't even know what to really add to this. He's a great player, is going to be great for the Yankees, and is easily their most impactful addition, especially when you look at how bad their lineup was last year, how bad their left field situation was. I talked about it earlier today on my coworker Kenneth's show, but just you had guys like Billy McKinney, Jake Bowers, playing regular starts for the Yankees, and getting Juan Soto to just solidify that spot for this year is just very important. And even if their lineup was good last year, still adding Juan Soto gives any team another dimension to that. So he's easily their most impactful addition, not even a question. And I would say most people would probably agree with that. Next, the Rays. They didn't really add many impactful players like the Rays do. We know about the Rays. They added Phil Maton and some other guys who were good, but I'm a big fan of, I've said it before, I'm a big fan of Ryan Pepio, who they got in the Dodgers trade. I think he should be able to fill out Glasnow's spot pretty well in the rotation. I'm really high on him as a pitcher for the future. I think he can be really good. And I'm looking forward to watching him with Tampa Bay and what goes on with that. And just to see what happens there and see if he can fulfill the potential I believe he has and be a big part of that Rays rotation for not only this year but years ahead. Next, we have the last team. We have the Red Sox. I was going to Blue Jays quickly, but we're going to go to the Red Sox, which is the right team to go to on my list here. And they didn't add much, of course. They added Tyler O'Neill. They added Vaughn Grissom, who I think are good players, but I think easily their most impactful one's going to be Lucas Giolito. They needed a starter. They didn't add anyone but Lucas Giolito. I guess there's still a chance they add someone like Jordan Montgomery. We'll be talking about Montgomery and the Red Sox later, so we'll go more in depth with that later. Giolito's a good pitcher. I think he brings a nice starter to the Red Sox. He probably shouldn't be an ace on any team in the year 2024, but he is for the Red Sox right now. That just shows you kind of where the team is, very much in a bridge situation. He's going to be an impactful player, but I'm just not sure about his long-term fit on the Red Sox and how well he plays into their entire offseason because they didn't really do much. So, he's easily the most impactful addition, but I don't know if that's something to be necessarily too happy about if you're a Red Sox fan. So, next, the Blue Jays. The most impactful addition, obviously, it's Daniel Vogelbach. That's a joke, obviously. It's not Daniel Vogelbach, but it was nice that they re-signed him and added him again. The Blue Jays have had a very interesting offseason. We had thought at one point they were destined to get one of Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani. Instead, they didn't, and they settled for guys like Isaiah Connor-Falefa, like Yariel Rodriguez. Both are good players, but I don't think they're guys that immediately get you into championship status or are going to win you a championship single-handedly. I thought their most impactful addition, though, was Justin Turner. I think he fills out that DH spot for them really well. You're going to lose Brandon Bowden for agency most likely. We don't know where he'll go yet. But, I think bringing in Justin Turner really fills out the DH spot quite well. He had a great season with the Red Sox last year. He's a veteran bat who brings, from what we've heard, a nice presence in the clubhouse. I like the fact that they solidified their DH spot with Pop-Tart. I like the signing for the Blue Jays, and I like what it brings for them. So next we have Cleveland. They did not make many moves, as is the Cleveland MO, as they are a smaller market team, and they're owned by one of the Dolans. And if you're a basketball fan or a Knicks fan, you definitely know that the Dolans don't make many moves because they're not great owners. But looking at the Guardians, really the only one you have to say here is Austin Hedges, which is embarrassing for the Guardians. I mean, he's a backup catcher who used to play for the team. He is a valuable player for contending teams because he brings great defense, great framing, probably the best framer in baseball. But man, he just cannot hit, and this should not be your most impactful addition if you're a team. I mean, I was debating putting Carlos Carrasco here in 2024. Like, that's how underwhelming of an offseason Cleveland has had. And I understand that they're not necessarily trying to go all out, but you have to make some kind of move, right? And I just don't know if Austin Hedges is that. So it's a fine move, but it shouldn't be the guy that you're basing your entire offseason success around. So, yeah. The Tigers, they made a good amount of moves this offseason, a lot of them geared toward pitching. They added a hitter yesterday in Gio Urshela, so that's something. But their most impactful addition, in my opinion, is a pitcher, and it is Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty had not great seasons with the Cardinals after starting his career out very well, dealt with some injuries. Got traded to Baltimore, didn't really help as well, but the Tigers signed him to a one-year deal, hoping that he would get his value back up to where it once was with the Cardinals, being one of the better pitchers in baseball. I'm not a huge fan of the signing, but I think the Tigers know what they're doing over there. They have a good organization. They run it well. So, I'm excited to see if they can fix Flaherty, and he brings a nice addition to that pitching staff that could use a veteran arm. So, I'm excited to watch Flaherty, and he's definitely their most impactful addition. Shelby Miller, Chafin, they were good additions to the bullpen, but I thought Flaherty, because he's going to be a starter, not just a middle relief guy, would be more impactful. So I picked him for this. The Royals. To me, it's Seth Lugo. The Royals, we've talked about them a few times now, but I'm going to keep talking about them because I'm still very surprised with their offseason and very happy they did something. They added a lot of players this offseason, and Seth Lugo, I think, was at the forefront of that. He was one of their bigger signings. We knew about a lot of teams interested in him, and the Royals got him. He brings a really nice pitcher to that pitching staff, a young pitching staff that needs kind of a veteran arm. Lugo signed as a starting pitcher with the Padres last year, worked out really, really well, and now got himself a nice contract with the Royals, 3 years, $45 million. And I think it's a good signing for the Royals as well. I think he's going to very, very much be impactful for them. Be very good. And, I'm looking forward to what he can do with the Royals and how he performs and what goes on there and how it goes, how his tenure in Kansas City goes. The Twins, they didn't make many moves this offseason because they didn't really need to. They had a lot of young players to just fill out the spots that left in free agency. But one of the moves they didn't make was Carlos Santana, which I did like. I think he brings a nice platoon presence to the DH spot. He can hit lefties really well. Brings a veteran presence to that lineup. Seems like he's always hitting no matter what team he's on. Just a good, solid veteran bat you can rely on. I thought it was a good addition for the Twins, and I'm happy they did it. And again, I think it's a nice move that is nothing too crazy, but brings some nice depth to the Twin Cities. Next, we have the White Sox, and I've wanted to talk about him more on the channel, but I haven't really gotten the opportunity to, and that is Eric Fedde. Eric Fedde was, in my opinion, one of the most underrated signings of the offseason. He kind of became a meme on social media because he was taking so long to sign after it was reported that he was down to two teams. But He signed with the White Sox, and I'm really a big fan of it. He won the MVP in the KBO, came over, got himself a nice contract with the White Sox, 2 years, $10 million. I'm very high on him. I think his new pitch is going to do wonders. I think you could point to a guy like Merrill Kelly, who came over from Japan, reinvented himself, and became one of the better pitchers for the Diamondbacks on that staff. So, I'm looking forward to watching Eric Fetty in Chicago and seeing how he does perform and what's going to happen with that. So, I'm looking forward to that. Moving on to the AL West here. Astros, it's easily Josh Hader, adding arguably the best closer in baseball. I think is an easy, most impactful addition for them. You have now one of the best bullpens in baseball, if not the best. All your pitcher has to do is go 6 innings, and it's basically done from there. 7th inning, Brian Abreu. 8th inning, Ryan Presley. 9th inning, Josh Hader. It's done after that. That's just locked down. Like, that's incredible. An incredible back end. So I'm really looking forward to how he plays in Houston and how if he can live up to that contract. Obviously, teams are usually worrisome to give big contracts to relievers, but I think Hader's an outlier just because of how good he is and the fact that he's more of a closer. So, I'm looking forward to watching Hader in Texas. Angels, another bullpen arm, Robert Stevenson. Robert Stevenson had a breakout season with the Rays last year. His stuff was always really nice, and the Rays saw that, claimed him, and put it together for him, which they do a lot. The Angels signed him to a big 3-year contract for a reliever. I think can slot into the 8th or 9th inning. Him and Carlos Estevez can close out games for the Angels. I don't know how many games they'll be closing out because they're not the best team. But, I still think it was a good move. Still think it was impactful for them. And, I'm looking forward to watching him close games with his electric stuff in Anaheim. So I definitely thought that was their most impactful addition. The A's. They're the A's. We don't really know what to say here. I guess Alex Wood, who they signed for a 1-year contract, trying to get him on a bounce-back season. If he bounces back, you can trade him at the deadline for a good prospect. If he's bad again, you can use him as part of your tank to get a good prospect in the draft. So it's kind of a win-win either way for the A's, but I guess he was their most impactful addition because they're not going to add much because why would they? They're the A's. They're not trying to win, and they're going to be moving to a different city in the next few years as well. So, the Mariners. I definitely thought it was Mitch Garver. I love what he brings to the Mariners in a DH role. If he can stay healthy, which I think there's a better chance of now if he's a full-time DH, I think it's a really impactful bat to a Mariners lineup that desperately needed one. Again, I love the signing. I thought it was really good value as well. I love the dimension it brings to the lineup. You need more hitting, and I think Mitch Garver definitely brings that as the DH. That was a good signing, and overall just a good signing for them. That's going to be impactful in my opinion. Almost went Jorge Polanco here, but I think Mitch Garver is a little bit better, and for what he brings, even though he is the DH and Polanco is going to be playing defense, I think both are good additions, and both are definitely impactful that you should watch if you're a Mariners or baseball fan. And finally, ending it with the world champions, Rangers. They haven't added much. I thought at this point they'd have Jordan Montgomery, but of course, now, he is probably not going to be coming back. So they added David Robertson to the back end of the bullpen, which I thought was a good addition. That was a little bit pricey for what he brings, but it is deferred, so it's kind of okay. Obviously, we're seeing a lot more deferred contracts now in baseball, including Ohtani, which is the big one that kind of started this whole thing. So, he brings a nice dimension that back end of the bullpen, which definitely needed it, even though they did win the World Series. That was probably their one thing that was kind of lackluster in the playoffs as well, back end of the bullpen. Obviously, Robertson came over from the Mets to the Marlins at the deadline last year. Was not good at all with the Marlins, but maybe they hope he can play good with Texas and kind of go back to David Robertson with the Mets and the Phillies and kind of regain that form that they're hoping. So, that was the end of segment 2 here. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, just an update on the games that are going on right now. Nick Lofton hit a double for the Royals against the Rangers, and it is now 3-2 Rangers. Nothing updating in the White Sox and Padres games, and still nothing in the Colorado Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks game, with both have one hit apiece. So that's just an update for that. But we're going to go to our second break here, and after that we're going to go to our segment 3, which is the NL team's most impactful additions. I don't know why it looks like that right now, but I'm going to change that. There we go. That looks better. So yeah, we're going to go to our segment 3, but first we're going to take a break, so I'll see you after that. Thanks.